can never be fired from ministry. Like, our call is to serve.
Right.
Whether you're a deacon or not, whether you're a pastor or not, you are to serve. So you can never be fired from the ministry. Like, the ministry is everywhere. You're just fired from whatever. You're
that
title,
organization,
that church, whatever. You're not. Yeah. You're never excommunicated from God and the calling that's on all Christians.
Right.
When I pull up on you, then I might swear, aye. Dribble off deuce, aye. That you might work, aye. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, aye. Dribble off deuce, aye. That you might work, aye. That you might work.
Welcome back to another episode of the Michel Matters Podcast. I'm Jocks Michel.
And I'm Jackie Michelle.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I don't know. Yeah, getting there.
Okay.
Once I start getting the swing of things, maybe I'll liven up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess catch people up while I get in the mood.
I mean, the people are caught up. I think we're all finally caught up because we finally know the results to this drawn out election season. Just because this year has been drawn out, at least it feels like it. But it's been the same 24 hours. But yeah, so we have a new president and vice president elect. So, I mean, it took us a couple days.
Yeah. Do you remember where you were when you found out?
No, actually. I don't. I remember us, like, watching the first night, like, oh, okay, yeah, we're not going to find out tonight. And then you thinking it was going to be, like, the 2000 election?
Yeah, I definitely thought it was going to go that way.
Yeah.
And it kind of is still.
I feel like I was probably driving and either Judy called me or something, but I was like, they didn't announce it yet when she called me.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't think so. I think you're just ahead of the curve right now. Yeah. So you probably told me or something. I don't know. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was at the church. We were working. We were doing something.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah.
So now you remember?
Yeah, I remember because I was at the church too.
Yeah, but we weren't together, but we're at the same place, but we weren't together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I definitely remember where I was. And yeah, I mixed feelings. Only because, I mean, we'll get into it, but politics is just always one of those hairy situations.
That's so funny that we found out at church, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, Biden's our new president. I'm happy we got rid of the old guy.
Not officially.
I mean,
he's still there.
It's pretty official.
Yeah.
And to debate it is to, I mean, I have a whole take on it, but yeah, it's a lot to say Biden's not the president at this point.
No, I'm saying, like, there was no inauguration, nothing.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Fine.
He's not the
president-elect.
Yet.
All right, you want to be that guy.
Yeah, because you never know what this man could do. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I've had this conversation with my brother. To say Biden is not the... Whatever. To say Biden is not the president-elect, you'd have to prove...
Who's debating that, though?
The president.
Okay.
You have to prove that America's like some third world country where you can rig elections.
Yeah.
And yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah.
So,
feel how you feel, but that's what it is. Another thing, I got to ride my bike to the beach. So I rode with a friend, and that was really nice because apparently it was Veterans Day. And like, I was like, what time do you have to work? Because usually I'm used to like everybody else is working and I'm just weird. And she's like, oh, I'm off. I'm off for like 2 days. I'm like, oh, great.
I didn't know people got Veterans Day off. So
apparently they do.
So, gotta be a banker.
Just, not you.
Oh. I was gonna say, because those are banker hours. To have Veterans Day off.
She works at a bank.
Yeah, it makes sense.
She doesn't work at a bank.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like my high for the week.
I feel like I've been in the doldrums, man. Like nothing high, nothing low.
Yeah.
I just kind of been getting by. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully things, as we go into like holiday season, things start picking up for me.
What you mean by picking up?
Like I start having some highs or low. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
It just kind of been steady which isn't always bad.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's been steady for me like all year. So
yeah.
Going to the beach as a high.
Yeah.
I don't know how high that is.
Because I haven't really been going nowhere. Like, I kind of feel like we were just shut in the house for a little while because we had the hurricane, but it was like, it definitely rained a lot. Like, our canal, because we live near a canal, that thing was to the top. Like,
it was crazy. We couldn't see the neighbor across the canal. We couldn't see his dock. And then the water was like right under our dock. So we were like, what is happening? Yeah. Because usually they, lower it before stuff like that. But
so that was kind of, I don't know, like it rained a lot. So I wasn't out working as much. Mm-hmm. So I kind of felt like shut in a little bit. And it's starting to feel like the beginnings of when COVID first happened, like getting cabin fever and stuff.
That's why it's important to get out.
Yeah, but like we couldn't do our walks and stuff because it was raining like crazy. Like places were flooded, like sidewalks and stuff were flooded in some areas. So that was kind of just like the low. Like it was dreary out here. But yeah, and speaking of quarantine, I'm gonna say it now. Like I think we're gonna go into like a shutdown again.
So you're trying to speak it into existence?
I'm not trying to speak it into existence.
I'm trying to understand.
But it's finna be on record that I called it. It's coming back.
I mean, they've been saying that because the holidays and stuff.
No, but we getting close.
Yeah, because the holidays are next week.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like no school again. No.
Oh, that kind of shut down.
Yeah, like shut it down.
We'll see.
It's coming back.
Just here.
I'm talking about everywhere.
Because, like, Georgia's open.
Yeah, but Michigan shut down this week. Or starting Monday, I think. They shut down a lot. The thing about the Michigan shutdown, and people were going crazy. I don't want to get too much into it. But it's like, they didn't really shut down that many things, which is why I didn't understand why the people were complaining. But, this is the same state where they tried to kidnap the governor. So, that was a little crazy. But I'm telling you, it's gonna happen here. We're gonna end up shutting down again. So, what else?
I mean, that's it, really. I'm interested to see what the holidays look like.
Mm-hmm. You do have a birthday coming up.
Oh yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. I don't really think about my birthday though.
But anytime I think about the holidays, like Thanksgiving, I think about your birthday. So it's hard to separate the two.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It happens all the time. So
I know, but things like this is what I'm talking about. When the holidays pick up, this is when things start to pick up. Like life. Birthdays, see family. Like things start moving and shaking around this time. Usually we go on some type of vacation around these times. Like things start picking up around here, but COVID.
It's just another year. I mean, it's a weird year.
This ain't just another.
No, I didn't mean to say that. It's just a weird year.
Yeah.
Because at this time we would have, been prepping for a basketball game or something. Like it's just different. Like it would have been super busy. So yeah. All right. Anyway, let's move on. You guys can subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcast.
Yes. Why'd you say it like that?
Because we always say iTunes, and it's not iTunes anymore.
Okay, excuse me.
Apple
I don't
Podcast.
have an iPhone, so I wouldn't know.
Send us comments on SoundCloud or on Instagram at Michel Matters, or you can leave us a voicemail at 954-652-6519. And if you want to support the podcast, you can check out our website, and we have all our sponsors on there. And that's it. Let's move on.
All right.
So this current matter is about how it's been an interesting week for the church. For, I guess, a segment of the church. So I want to say it was last Sunday. Somebody sent me an Instagram post, and it was from Carl Lentz, and I guess him apologizing to people. because he was fired for cheating on his wife. And then literally like the same day, John Gray posted a post of his wife and like apologizing. I guess he had already apologized to her in person. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to display that apology to the world. This was also while we were like waiting for an election to be complete. And it was just kind of like, what's happening? Like, why is this? Why today? Anyway, I don't want to really talk about their situation. Mm-hmm. I kind of just want to talk about what that means if a pastor cheats on their wife, or like what does that mean to, I guess for them, society, and like why they felt they needed to apologize to the world on Instagram. Yeah. What do you think about that? Pastors getting fired over cheating on their spouse.
Oh, pastors getting fired. Getting fired sounds so like final.
It is.
It is. But I don't know. I just don't like getting fired. Sounds crazy. Like getting fired from church. But yeah, it's
their place of employment.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when you, as a pastor who cheats on their wife, you have disqualified yourself in that position. And it just sounds, I don't know, but something about fire just sounds like, I don't know, just sounds worse to me than what it really is. Because the person isn't like fired from the kingdom, but right. it just seems like, okay, so they did something wrong, and it feels like the church has separated themselves from that person when you say that you fired them, mm-hmm. when church is like the opposite of that. Like when someone sins as a church, we don't.
This is where you come.
We don't separate ourselves from these people. We tend to love harder on these people.
Or we should.
We should.
Yeah. And
that's what we preach, though, typically. So when you say you fired the man, it just sounds to me worse than it really is. But
but that's what it is.
Yeah. But I think it feels like it lacks some sort of like grace. Mm-hmm. In the matter still.
I also don't know. I mean, that's just like the headlines that I've been seeing is that he was fired.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're the one going through that, you would hope, have enough like awareness to just be like, you know what? I'm going to step down.
But if he stepped down, then why didn't you say Pastor Carlin stepped down? Like they said he was fired.
That's what the headlines are saying. I don't know what happens.
I think even their press statement had that he was fired because they did, okay. And they even I think put out a second one where they said that his wife was fired too.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know why is that a disqualifier?
Because there are qualifications in the Bible to become a pastor. Mm. And one of them is to be faithful to your wife. Mm-hmm. So if there are qualifications, then there should be disqualifications. So not being faithful to your wife should be a disqualification for that position. One thing, though, that the Bible doesn't really talk about is like, can you be qualified again? They don't.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, too, say you're fired as a pastor because of that. Are you still, obviously it's not like you have to leave the church. Like mm-hmm. we're not shunning you, I would hope.
Shouldn't be, but when you say you fired somebody, it sounds like
like you can still come, right?
Yeah.
Be a part, but like, are you then comfortable with him serving in different areas? Are you comfortable with him being a deacon or whatever? Are you comfortable with him being... Like, is it just the pastor part? Because shouldn't everybody be faithful to their spouse?
For sure. But there's something about those, like, called positions of the church. Mm-hmm. Or... Because even for a deacon, it calls for them to be faithful to their wife.
Yeah.
Even as deacons. So... Yeah.
Everybody
can he serve? Can he serve? Well,
You're saying talking about actual positions.
To hold that position. Yeah. One of the qualifications is to be faithful to your wife. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So when it comes to like serving, the thing about like serving, you can never be fired from ministry. Like our call is to serve.
Right.
Whether you're a deacon or not, whether you're a pastor or not, you are to serve. So you can never be fired from the ministry. Mm-hmm. Like the ministry is everywhere. You're just fired from whatever. You're
from that
title
organization,
and that church, whatever. You're not. You're never excommunicated from God and the calling that's on all Christians,
right,
to serve. So the thing about it is, it's just typically a stain on your reputation and whatever the church's reputation. Because when you are a pastor, you don't just represent typically, whatever, how many people go to your church. To the world, you are the representation of like Christ-ish. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that authority that people assume, because everything sounds more salacious. Like when it's a pastor, it's like, oh, this pastor, whatever, like curse somebody out. Like if you heard that a pastor cursed out somebody at Publix, it's like, oh, like that's your pastor, you know what I'm saying? Versus like, Joe Schmo curse out somebody at Publix. It just, that's what comes with the title. Yeah. And my only thing is, one, I don't like the term fired, and two, what is the process of restoration for people like that? Mm-hmm. Can you be requalified in ministry to like hold another position? And that's something like, I guess I'd have to do research or like learn, but like, because imagine you went to school to be a pastor and that's what you've been doing your whole life. And does a transgression, one transgression,
that's what I'm saying,
disqualify you completely from the role? But I do also believe that, how I always be like, heavy is the head. Like sometimes that comes with it. Like,
no, it does all the time.
You're not afforded, and it sounds crazy because like, I'm gonna say you're not afforded the same luxuries as the rest of us. Like the rest of y'all can sin, ask for forgiveness, get back to your normal lives. I can't. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a lot, but that's why, when you talk about like pastors doing whatever, XYZ, like it could even be like, accused of sexual assault, or like a pastor who's stealing money from the church, or like those things ring louder because of the position that you hold. And it's just one of those things you gotta count the cost when you, like, I'm pretty sure Pastor Carlins had many times to rethink whether or not he wanted to cheat on his wife with that lady. And John Gray, don't get me started. Like,
okay, I guess what are your immediate thoughts when you first hear about something like this on a local level? Like if there's a pastor that, does something, it doesn't even have to be cheating, but I guess in this case, cheating. A pastor in Miami cheats on his wife versus like a John Gray, because it's like a more major scale, I guess, because more people know who he is. What are your immediate thoughts when that comes out?
The immediate thing I think of, just like,
dang.
Yeah, it's like, I feel for that person. Because I don't think when most people become pastors, they kind of just start to consider like all the ramifications of not just being a pastor, but like typically like these mega pastors, you almost become a celebrity.
Right.
At that point. And maybe some of the things that were issues before get magnified. Like you have way more access. You're in the limelight like a lot. So I don't think a lot of people are ready for that. Especially, most pastors don't sign up for that. It happens, but I don't think most pastors signed up to be celebrities and are probably ready for what comes with it. So I kind of feel for them. Initially.
But I also feel like even on a local level, you know what you signed up for.
Yeah.
At the same time. So it's like, even us, for example, if we're at a job or whatever, like we're not going to do something, or like we know what the ramifications could be if we do something wrong. there's too much on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think as a pastor on any level, you would know, okay, this is what's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I might lose my family. I'm most likely going to lose my job. Some people are going to leave the church because I'm now leaving. And then, you know, you kind of taint the reputation of other Christians too, just because, like, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Like, there's just too much on the line, and I just don't know, like, what goes on in their minds. Like, I just don't get it.
The thing for me, especially, like, well, most of these situations, it's not like these are people who committed a sin.
Yeah.
They realize what they've done, and they're trying to turn their life around. Typically, these are people who have either only stopped because they got caught or are about to get caught and they know it. And it's like, those are two levels of, like, being caught up in sin, where it's like,
yeah,
it's just, if I think I would, granted, I'm not the giver of grace, but, like, I'm more understanding of the guy who, I don't want to say more understanding. It's just, I know that there's a difference when you're caught in sin versus, like, you turning around and being like, no, okay, I need to repent.
Right.
And making that 180 on your own. But sometimes, you know, maybe for the best that you did get caught. Who knows how far this could go? You could have had an outside baby. Like,
because that makes it worse. I mean, it's already bad, bro.
It is already bad. I'm also trying to leave room for some grace here.
No, and that's another thing is, like, I feel like I don't know how I feel about maybe the fired part I can understand, right? But then there's also throughout the church, I don't feel like that same energy is, you know, is passed around. It could go from, okay, you're serving with the kids. If you ain't living right, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep that same energy throughout.
I mean, it depends.
If that's the case.
It depends.
Because you're still in a leadership position, if that's what we're talking about.
I mean, we've seen people who are removed from volunteer positions for getting pregnant out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Like,
for certain people.
Yeah.
It's not consistent. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like, some people, it's like, okay, yeah, no, you can still volunteer. And then some people, it's like, nah, you gotta go. So that's the problem that I have.
Yeah.
If the pastor gotta go, or if the pastor has to step down, because I don't like that fired either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I feel like just, you know, stay. Just don't preach. You know, you're not the pastor, but you can stay. But then again, that's embarrassing. So I get it. It's a whole thing. But I feel like just keep it consistent then, because now we're like putting people on a pedestal. Oh, but the pastor can't sin, but you're good because you're just, you know, working in the welcome team or whatever. Like, no, everybody needs to be living right.
Yeah. And the thing is, this is where I'm conflicted, because it's like, oh, you know, don't put the pastor on a pedestal. But there are roles and responsibilities in life. And unfortunately, or fortunately, like, people are held to higher standards depending on their roles and responsibilities. Just like anything. So yeah, when you do choose to become a pastor, yeah, you know, I'm a man too, and I sin, you know, he who hath no sin cast the first stone, but you are also accepting a responsibility and a role that does require more of you than as if you were just a regular layman. Like, if there wasn't, then the Bible wouldn't have specific qualifications for it.
Right.
It's not as to say, like, you are any less saved or, you know, like, you're not worthy, or you are just, maybe you're just not called to be in that position. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, your ultimate, like, end goal is still the same. Yeah. It doesn't change. That title just may not be for you. And you can be productive. Like, there's nothing unproductive about being a follower of Christ. Like, just, like, what is a title? Like, I'm not.
No, for sure.
There's nothing to be caught up in, like, oh, he's, not qualified to be a pastor. It's like, I mean, who's qualified, really? Like, when we really, really come down to it, right? Like, so it's like, I don't want to get caught up in the title of it, but I do understand that is something that the Bible, like, distinctly talks about. It's distinctly calls out for, certain roles, certain responsibilities, and certain qualifications for those roles and responsibilities. So, I mean, sorry. Like, I wish them well. I definitely, like, anytime I see that, I feel bad because it's always a hit on the community. Right. We're a body. Like, we're a community. And I don't want to see anybody, like, knocked down. Like, those are people of large churches. Yeah. They affect a lot of people. It's a lot of people who are watching this. And I think this is also just a time where it's like, as a community, wrap our arms around these people. Like, instead of casting them away, saying that they're fired, just, go hide off in your New York condo or whatever. Like, Pastor
come back in a couple months.
We still praying for you. Pastor John Gray, he needs a lot of prayer.
Okay.
He needs a lot of prayer.
See. The sin levels?
It's not levels. It's the
we're not doing that.
It's the repeated.
Yeah.
That boy
I didn't understand that one.
He's a habitual line stuffer.
Okay. Let's move on. All right. For this episode's Michel Matter, we're extending this conversation. I like that we ended the current matter with you talking about community, because I feel like for the last 4 years, it's been evident that, like, the country has always been divided, but it's been evident, like, that the church has also been divided. Mm-hmm. It's just actually come out to the forefront. And now that this is over, allegedly, it's just had me thinking throughout basically this entire 4 years, like, why? Why do we care so much? And I only see American Christians dividing over, like, politics and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, my sister lives in France. Her church don't care about, not that they don't care, but they don't, like, divide over who's the president and who they're going to vote for and who's this and that. So I feel like this standpoint of, like, well, these people at church are Republicans and these people at church are Democrats, it gets a little, who cares? Because this ain't even our home. So how do we move forward in times like these? Because we're always going to have elections. Yep. We're always going to have new presidents. And someone's going to like them and someone's not. So, yeah. I think we've also seen, like, this more celebrity pastors, right? Mm-hmm. Come out and say some interesting things or do some interesting things in order to get certain people in office. Or I guess entice their church to vote a certain way. And I don't get it. And it's weird. And Christians look weird because they're doing it. I mean, what do you think this division does to the body?
To the body. Yeah. I mean, anytime we have division, it's like, so when we talk about the body, a lot of times we talk about, some parts of the arms, some parts of the legs. Right. So if you think of, like, division within the body, you're talking about, like, double amputee, like someone who's disabled, who is not as effective functioning. Yeah. So, like, anytime the body is divided, we're not as effective in the world. Right. I think, it's a lot of, like, different issues and things that the church is divided over. But to church, I don't, because I want to make it apolitical as much as I can. Like, I don't want to put it, but I feel like the church as a whole is in bed with politics, right? And you could put that whichever way you want it. Like, Christians, I'll say Christians more so than the church, are in bed with politics in a way that I feel like is unhealthy to our progress.
Yeah. Because
we can never make any part of politics seem like gospel, because it isn't. Like, there's only one gospel, and unless there's like a Christ party and they've emerged overnight and I don't see them, they don't exist.
Yeah.
So I think we gotta stop acting like it's literally like gang mentality. Like, you know, I'm red, I'm blue,
right? And
this is how I ride. And like, people have turned certain things into like, okay, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, then you're not a Christian, or how could a Christian do A, B, C?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I don't want it to ever feel like one of the parties has a monopoly on Christ when neither one does. Yeah, I just feel like we can't be effective if we think the answers are in politics.
Yeah.
And too many times people think the answers are in politics.
Yeah. I think, or at least I'm feeling like we're getting too comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you did like a whole Bible study on this. Yeah, I just don't see the point. Like, of course, we have to be active and we have to, you know, do our due diligence while we're here. But I think for us to make a Trump versus Biden thing relevant like that, you're missing the whole point. Like, that's not why we're in church. That's not why we're called to Christ or what. Like, it doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, really, we don't know these men. We don't know none of these people. And we don't know who they follow. So, like, I
mean, sometimes we know enough and we still act a certain way. And it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I try not to judge people based on who they voted for, right? I think people vote for their own reasons.
Easy too, though.
No, I'm saying it is. Because a lot of times we don't really get to know why people vote the way they do. We usually just know they voted one way or the other. And we kind of just project what we think of that person, that party, onto whoever we're talking to, or we just assume certain things.
Yeah.
Like, there's it's like, I don't know, I want to call it a trend, or this thing on, you know, social media is running around where it's like, it'll say, what is something that's not racist that seems racist to you? Right? And people just go off and they'll say certain things, and it's like, I get it, because you could say, like, you could do the same thing, like, what's, you know, or, because I want to make apolitical, but like, to some people, if you say Republican, they think racist, right? Okay. And it's just a projection of the worst parts of Republicans that we put on everybody.
Right.
And it's like, I always talk about, like, sometimes I wish I didn't know what people thought, or like, I wish I didn't know who people voted for, because then I wouldn't project things on them. Because sometimes it's hard not to, like, you know, oh, don't judge a book by its cover. But it's like, what's the point of a cover? Right? And it's like,
okay.
But no, our minds go sometimes to places when we see things, when we hear things. And it's like, sometimes I'd rather not know, what people, are how they vote. Because sometimes you can have a tendency to judge people, unfairly.
Yeah.
And they'll do it to you. Like,
so I guess your thing is, like, we should start having more conversations as to why.
Yeah. 1,000%. And because I feel like not enough people are challenged on the way they think.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people challenge themselves. Is like, they're just like, well, this is what this party symbolizes or whatever, so that's what I'm going to do. And it's just like, I don't think that's how you vote, but okay.
Yeah. I think it's really good to sometimes just ask people why. So there was a video that I reposted this week, and it was some guy, he was talking about the Civil War, and he was saying that the Civil War wasn't just about slavery. And the person who was interviewing him was like, okay, what else was it about? And he was like, other stuff. And then the guy was like, okay, name 2 other things.
Right.
And he was just like, it was about tyranny. And the guy was like, okay, what's tyranny? He was like, when the government tries to control your life too much. And he was like, oh, like slavery. And the guy was just stuck. He was just like, But it's like that, right? So like, if you dig, and you force people to really think about the things that they think. Yeah. I think it leads to more healthy dialogue. And like, sometimes it may expose things to other people, like to the people who are listening to, like, oh, that's why they think the way they think.
Or like, didn't even think of that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't think most people have ill intentions, like, with most of their thoughts. I give most humans like that basis of like, I don't think they're looking to be ill towards others. Mm-hmm. I also feel like a lot of people just have some preconceived notions about things that they just probably haven't challenged on both sides. Yeah. And it's like, let's take some time and flesh it out, but not yell and scream at each other. Right. And I think there's possibility for like progress.
Yeah. I don't think it's as easy as, because I mean, even when I was first registered to vote or whatever, there was always like almost a checklist, so to speak. And it's just like, it's not as easy as checking off some of those things. Because for the most part, both parties are going to check off those things.
Depends what your checklist is, but okay.
But you get one of them. Like, some of the things are really like, I'm going to just say like, the right to bear arms or something. Okay. It's like, okay, girl, like, nobody's going to take that away from you. But not these 2 major candidates. You get what I'm saying?
Preconceived notions, right? So there's a preconceived notion that Democrats are trying to take your guns away, and Republicans are trying to be armed to the teeth. And yeah, it's like, okay, maybe we need to flesh that out a little bit. Like, is that what's really going on? Are they trying to take all your guns away? Right. Because that's all these elections they do. They fearmonger. They tell you the worst things are going to happen. They tell you that if you raise the minimum wage to $15, that a Big Mac is going to cost you $30. And it's like, all right, calm down, right? Yeah. They make it seem like it's the worst possible thing. And then I just feel like a lot of these things just aren't challenged enough, or we're too just, it depends on where you get your news from, right? I always feel like that's huge. Right. So it kind of changes, like, you may just be armed with one side of or one type of opinion. And yeah, if that's all you hear and all you take in, then you're going to think that way versus like, I mean, it's hard though to try to find like what's a unbiased news station. Yeah. But then I feel like at that point, I mean, just be a little more proactive. And like flip the channel. Yeah, go to all of them. Honestly, like you guys are annoyed with me with how much I was flipping the channel during the election, but I feel like it's the only way to try to get some sort of like balance. Yeah, and like, it's just so funny because it's like the numbers are so off from channel to channel. Yeah. Like, how did we get here? But anyway, okay, but in the church space, how do we get to the point of dialogue? Because I think there are some people who are just stuck in that. Mm-hmm. And I also don't feel comfortable with it being done on the pulpit. For sure. If it's just like, you're going to tell me your thoughts. And especially if you're not going to. And you're not going to be like. Deep. Like you're not digging. You're just giving me your face value opinions. Yeah. Not only that, but you're just only on one side. Like your biases are coming out. So. I don't like that. So like, how do we cultivate that going forward? Because I am tired.
Like, that was tiring. And I don't know if it was, I don't know if every church was like that, but it's just like, based on what I've seen and what I've spoken to people about who don't even go to our church, they go to other churches too. It's like, it's happening in multiple places.
Yeah.
So this is just the culture right now. And we need to start moving more solidly, more together.
Yeah.
So.
My guy, Pastor Charlie Dates, he had this quote where he was saying...
He be talking from the pulpit, though.
Yes, but I don't think he gets too in-depth on the politics. But he was saying that the church is like... he said if the church wants to save the world from lies, they need to be clear on what truth is, right? So, for me, what that means is like... I think if we're going to push a narrative or we think that something is the right way to go about doing it, unfortunately, like, we all haven't agreed on what right is.
Yeah.
Like, we can't agree on what social justice means, right? So how do we, eliminate, like, this fear of, like, Black Lives Matter and all these things, if we can't even agree on what social justice means, or if we should even say the word social justice, like, we need to get some things clear as a church first, before we start going out into the world and trying to get them right when we're not even, we're not even right within.
That's good.
Yeah. Shout out to Lauren Hill.
Okay.
How you gonna win if you ain't right within?
Come again.
Mm-hmm. But I think one of the big things, and it's hard, because like I said, I'm one of those people, like, sometimes I was better off not knowing what people thought. We need to have tough conversations.
Yeah.
You need to have town halls. You need to have small groups where people cordially talk about this stuff, man. Like, yeah, let's open up. And unfortunately, like, we just can't always finish everything with I agree to disagree.
And we always, we don't always have 5 hours a day to discuss. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think strong presentations of truth need to be had. And we need to get some things straight, man.
I agree. I think that's one of those things that, like, annoyed me during the whole thing, which I'm pretty sure I said it last episode, like, go vote. But I hate that. Like, everywhere that I went, Instagram, whatever, it was like, go vote. And it's like, don't tell me to vote if you're not going to tell me, like, why or what. You know what I mean? Let's discuss why, like, yes, it's important, but, like, don't just tell me go vote, because we might not align on what we voted for. So, like, what do we want, like, as Americans, right? What is this supposed to look like, right? Don't just say go vote.
You gotta pay attention to who tells you to go vote, right? No, I'm serious, because people don't just tell you to go vote just to say, like, that's the line I don't like. Like, I don't care who you vote for, just go vote. You care. No. You care.
And I care.
So
we should care.
So I think most people do care. And I think when you are told to vote strategically, it comes from like our social medias know what we are trying to buy. They know what we've bought. They know where we've been, right? Yeah. It's not a coincidence. You don't think they know which way you lean politically, probably? Like, these things are all algorithm-based. These things, these aren't accidents. Like, we're not seeing these ads by accident. Mm-hmm. These ads are targeted towards people that they want to vote, because they assume you're going to vote a way. And it's targeting those people to go vote. I don't think any of these things are coincidences. The algorithms are too strong. Like, you ever, like, go on your Explore page and, like, yo, how they know? Like, it's just, These things are too strong. These ads are not. These are targeted ads. Don't be confused and think these are just like general. These are targeted ads.
But like on the apps, it's general. On the apps, it's general.
You think?
I'm sure.
Okay, but it may be general, but I would assume that there are large...
Like the celebrities that are going to show up on your whatever page, who are saying go vote, that is targeted to you. So like whoever's telling you to go vote is targeted to you, but like the little banner on the top of Instagram, that's for everybody. That's
I don't want to go too deep into my conspiracy bag.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I believe it's targeted.
Okay.
So, and I'm here for the target.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. So.
Yeah. There's a demographic that's on social media and they know what demographic that is. And that's why they push it hard to those people to go vote, because those demographics tend to vote away
that align with their beliefs.
Yeah. All you got to do is go on Twitter and look at every one of Trump's posts, and you know why they're telling you to go vote.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
There's that.
So, yeah. I think the church needs to get it together, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm tired. So.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
Let's move on. All right, for this week's listener matter, we have one question. And as you guys know, you can email us at michelmatters@gmail.com or DM us or send us a voicemail. So this question is, how do you guys make it clear to each other that you need space without hurting the other person? And I'm assuming she means like alone time.
Yeah.
Not like, let's break up.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it's interesting. I don't really ask for alone time. I want it, but as far as like asking for it, I kind of just take it when I can. So like when Jackie's like, oh, she's gonna go to the store, do I want to come? Sometimes I say no, because then I can have alone time.
You just don't want to come. Just say you don't want to come.
It's both. You've conditioned me to not want to go. And I also take advantage of the times I get to be alone. And then it's like, for me, my main like alone time is like when I go take a shower. So at least I try to when you aren't acting weird and you want to be in the bathroom with me, and like, but that's like my alone time. I listen to podcasts.
I feel like you have way more alone time than that.
I said that's my main source.
Oh, main.
When do I get alone time?
That's sad. If that's your main source.
I mean,
because I'd be getting alone time.
Yeah, because I actually leave, like, and go to work and come back.
But work is not alone time.
No. I know. But when I leave here, it's yours. The house is yours.
Yeah, but I'm working.
No, I'm joking. You be working, but you be super comfortable. It's alone time.
I guess.
And you don't work all day.
That's
like,
true.
We don't have to tell them that, but you don't work all day.
Yeah. No, that's true. They should know that.
I thought they was paying you all day, so.
And?
But yeah. What about you?
I feel like I don't have to add, like, I don't have to make it clear. I feel like it's pretty clear for the most part. Like, I think you've always known that I like alone time, because like even growing up, for the most part, I only had to share a room like in the summertime when my sister would come. So I was always alone. Like, I would always have alone time. So I think it would be unobservant of you to go into a marriage and think that I wasn't like, but that's not something that I would need.
I feel like for you, the alone time is a little easier because at least when the world was wide open, like, I was just out more. I was away more. Mm-hmm. So alone time was just, till he gets home, like, you have that time to yourself. You didn't really have to ask for it. I just wasn't there.
That's true. Yeah. Like if he was at practice and stuff like that.
I used to work all day and then practice, all that stuff. Like, yeah. And then especially once you started working from home and doing your own thing, I mean, what's alone time? It's just life at that point.
Yeah. I feel like the other day, I don't know how many hours of alone time you had, but you had alone time because I went to go see a friend. Yeah,
that wasn't planned alone time, so I was like preparing for you to be home. Stuff like that happens. Yeah.
So stuff, I don't know.
It's just natural. I don't feel like we've ever had to like, yo, I just need a moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's never like that. Like, for me, if I feel like I need a moment, I'm going to just go, like, do something. Like, if I go play 2K or... You know what I mean? Like, I'll just go separate myself.
Yeah. I guess alone time when we were both home, for you, I guess, would be the shower. For me, would be the kitchen. Like, whenever I'm in the kitchen.
I guess.
Like, there are some days I'm like, yeah, you can just stand there or whatever. Like, or I just want you around. But for the most part, you'll be like, oh, what do you need me to do? And I'm like, nothing.
But that's not alone time for me.
That is because I put on my little, I put on the little show on the iPad and I wash dishes or I'll cook or whatever. Like, that's my alone time.
I feel like alone time is like when you're in the room watching like your shows, or they watch you because you always fall asleep.
Yep.
And you just let them run, and you be like on season 3, you only watch 2 episodes, and it's like I feel like that's your alone time typically because. I typically don't care to watch those things, so I leave you alone, and I go do something else in another room.
Right.
So I just feel like it kind of comes natural.
Yeah.
You don't want to be up under somebody all day.
Yeah.
Jackie's
But like a planned alone time, that doesn't happen often, like for it to be planned. It happened last month when I went to like go get ice cream by myself.
Yeah, because I was doing something.
Because a friend was over with you.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let me just enjoy.
Yeah. I'm not good with alone time. I never grew up alone.
Yeah.
I was rarely alone in my life. So, like, I used to want alone time, but I just could never get it.
I feel like you say you want alone time now, but you... Like, you be alone and then you're like, oh, when are you coming home? And I'm like...
First of all, I don't be asking because I'd be, like, in a rush for you to come back. Let's be clear.
Okay.
I just, you gotta live accordingly. So it's
govern
like,
yourself.
Yeah. If like I made a mess in the living room, like, all right, how much time do I have?
It'll never be messy though.
Because you never see it. That's the point.
Whatever.
Anyway.
But yeah.
Don't forget you can always send us some more questions. Reach out. Definitely hit the voicemail.
Yeah.
All right, on to the business spotlight.
Yeah.
All right, so for the business spotlight, home team, we went and got pate this Sunday. It was a new spot. Jackie's just like, just drive here, turn here. I don't know where we're going. And then we ended up at Chez Katu. All right. So I feel like I've drove by this place a bunch, and I've never like turned my head and seen it or paid attention to it. And they make pate corde, and so I guess to explain, so it's like it's not just like your standard pate.
Yeah. It's like a pate empanada.
Yeah, that's a better way to describe it. It's a little more hearty. So I had 2. And one can get you right. But I had...
Well, we had one for breakfast and one for lunch.
Yes. I could have ate both. But, I had...
You didn't want to be savage.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then, so I had one... I had the breakfast one. So the breakfast one had, like, eggs, sausage... Cheese, and, like, Haitian seasonings.
Right.
And, it was really good.
Yeah.
And then my second one was just sausage. So sausage, boiled eggs, and like...
It had boiled eggs in it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It had onions or whatever. And like, when I ordered sausage, I assumed I was going to get like breakfast sausage. Yeah, man, not breakfast sausage. Which was surprise, but a good surprise.
Yeah. Because I didn't think that was like a breakfast item.
What?
The sausage.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like...
I didn't know there was egg in it.
Yeah. So it was like Garcia sausage. So it reminded me of like, you know, being a kid, going to the corner store. Not home. I'm on being a kid, going to the corner store and grabbing a sausage sandwich for $1.25 from the corner store. And yeah, man, it just felt... What? That was like A1 meal. Like you go to the corner store. Like I remember like I get a sausage sandwich, I get a chubby soda, and I get like the 25-cent bag of like Doritos 3Ds. Like that was the time period of my life.
That was lunch.
I remember that. Like solid. Or I'm walking home from Westview. We stopped by the corner store, only let 6 in at a time. I mean, whatever. That's how they treated us. And then.
So there was already social distancing.
It wasn't social distancing. Anyway, so yeah, it was profiling.
Yeah,
and
got it. I thought it was like a black-owned corner store, but okay.
No. Come on, it's the black-owned. But not at that time. I mean, let's keep it a buck. But no, about Chez Katu. Let's stay on brand. So yeah, so it was nice size Haitian empanada. I don't want to call it empanada, but yeah, it looks like an empanada.
It's a little crispier than like
a regular pate, less flaky
yeah.
than like regular pate, which is doughy and stuff.
Right.
This isn't that.
So I had the breakfast for breakfast, but I had turkey bacon.
Of course.
And it was like as I was eating, I was like, "This is really good. This is good, right? This is good." Because I didn't know, I didn't think a pate could be for breakfast in that way.
Yeah.
But the way she did it, you know, it's good. And then for lunch, I had the chicken. And that was good too. But I think I like the breakfast better.
Yeah.
Personally.
I like both. And they have a grill one, which I eventually want to try. That's more of a lunch one.
Yeah.
I'll definitely try that one next time. And I had jicoso. So that is soursop, or you know, Miami.
Wait for you to explain that.
Yeah, it's soursop. But if you're in Miami, you know, down south they call it guanabana. That's like what they call it in Spanish. Tropical fruit. I don't want to say exotic. It's a tropical fruit. But it's fire. Yeah, it's fire.
I just had the strawberry lemonade.
So. Yeah, but it was all good. I definitely want to go back.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, you can order ahead of time and pick up. We didn't know, so we ordered, and then we it took like 10-15 minutes, and then we picked it up there. But yeah, fire. Like, to me, I gave it 5 stars, and it's like young Haitian people like doing it.
Yeah.
So definitely wanted to support.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
That's it. All right, guys. Another episode of the books.
Bye.
See ya.
When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That you might work, ayy. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That you might work, ayy. That you might work. That you might work.